Honey, he's still in there.
Oh, does this guy have a job? Like, what is happening here? Attorneys have the best haircuts. Period. It was basically like, okay, I'm ready to go in.
The deals are out closing a month.
Around, so like 25-ish on average for cash. I can't do anything about it. And
It's a special moment for me. I was not expecting that story.
I wasn't expecting it
Audience,
to happen.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Kevin sucked on our commercial.
Yeah, I
Goodbye.
saw Kevin. That's bad.
For yourself, myself.
Yeah. This is very cathartic for me.
Please don't ever come back. Welcome to the Get Real Estate Podcast. Good to have Kevin Link here.
Wow.
Yeah, just like that. We got Four Brothers Buy Houses, 1000flips.com, right?
That's right. 1Kflips.com.
1kflips.com. Any other brands I'm missing? I mean, there's a lot of coaching in it.
I'm thinking about starting a boy band.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yes, at this point, yeah.
Well, if I remember correctly, you're a self-proclaimed introvert, recovering lawyer, and you run a wholesaling company, and you do coaching and have 50,000 followers on TikTok. None of this makes any sense to me, which is why we want to bring you on the show and help us understand what we're doing wrong in our lives.
Well, yeah, I don't know why you invited me on here after that wonderful introduction. Thank you.
You know.
Yeah, but what is the question?
The question is, like, there's all this, like, you're an introvert, then you have 50,000 followers, you have a large coaching program, there's a lot of questions in there. We can break this up into many different segments.
Well, I did go to law school. One of the things I learned from going to law school is that by the time you finish, your personality has gotten 30% worse.
Okay.
So that was the main outcome that I got from it. But I did practice law for 7 years, and then I got into real estate.
And how'd you get into real estate? Like, did you meet John Carcone?
Well, we went to undergrad.
Oh, you did? Okay, gotcha. So you guys were friends. Didn't go to law school together.
He didn't go to law. He made a better decision than I did by not going to law school.
And for those that don't know, John Carcone was your business partner in Four Brothers Buy Houses.
Exactly.
Tell us about that business, how you got into it, all of it.
Sure. I mean, it's a wholesaling business.
Yep.
John was flipping houses way back from like 2009, and then he was doing that, and we talked on and off. I was practicing law. We talked about partnering up, and then I got to a point where I was like, if I don't do it, I'm never going to do it.
Yeah.
And my boss's jokes were not getting better at the time. I also had a colleague that, so, lawyers, I mean, people in real estate are kind of, out there too, but lawyers are their own breed. So I was like, okay, so we have like the DiGiorno joke. Dan is riding the stationary bike with his helmet on. I was like, this is becoming an increasingly difficult environment to operate in.
Yeah.
So then I left. Yeah.
That's amazing. What type of law were you doing?
Securities law, insider trading, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Litigation. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It was very fun.
So you got into Four Brothers Buy Houses.
Yeah.
You guys do a lot of deals. Now, we have a lot of real estate agents. I mean, tons of viewers out there. Oh, so many.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of real estate agents we do work with. So if they are listening, a lot of people think, oh, wholesalers, my competition. I can't work with them, whatever. You have a different philosophy. Tell them about how you do work with real estate agents, and if someone thinks about that, like, how do they get in touch with you if they want to work with you?
Yeah, I do think about it differently, I suppose. For the most part, people who want to sell their house, they kind of know which direction they want to go, usually.
Yeah.
So I don't really think of it as competition, right? Like, if somebody has a house that's in great shape, I don't really think I'm probably competing for that house, and vice versa. So, I know that there's, I don't know, some stigma with the relationship. I don't really get it. But yeah, I guess, when agents come across properties where this, inevitably they're going to meet people who don't want to list or decide they don't want to list, or the house needs a lot of work. That's something where they could reach out to us, either by email or call us, and we could do a deal with them. Agent still gets paid.
Yep. And for those people that don't know what you guys do, I mean, you're focusing on quick closes. You want to explain the process, with like, $900,000 house. You might not win that because an agent's going to want to set it up and do it the right way. Another house that maybe hasn't been fixed up in 40 years, maybe explain the process.
Pink bathrooms, outdated, order, whatever, right? Not in great condition, wouldn't show well, or maybe the seller just doesn't want to have like a million people through the house and go through that process. Properties like that, we'll buy it, we'll do it quickly, like 30 days or less, is kind of whatever the seller wants, and we cover the closing costs. There's no commission, as is, easy peasy. So
the agent still gets paid.
Agent still gets paid if they bring, absolutely, of course.
And on the other side, if it's not a fit for you, I believe you have, tell me if I'm wrong, 50 agents you work with where, hey, there's this really nice house, not for my business, you should talk with them.
Yes, so we do a lot of advertising, right? So we have like a TV commercial, direct. The commercial is awful, by the way. I'm in it, and it's quite bad.
I'm Kevin Link with Four Brothers Buy Houses, and I guarantee I'll pay the most for your house. I'll beat any offer on your house, or I'll give you $1,000.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I'm ready for my children to see it yet, but it's a miracle that anybody calls from it.
But they
do. Probably they feel sorry for me, I assume.
Is that why you person? Maybe that's why you have 50,000 TikTok followers
behind a camera. Who let this guy on here?
With that said, you spend a lot of money on advertising marketing.
We get a bunch of leads. All of our advertising is like, we'll buy your house for cash, but lots of people still reach out to us.
Yeah.
They want an offer, but they end up listing with an agent for whatever reason. And so we have a referral program. We have a roster of 50 agents where we refer those leads out depending on the geography and what have you.
Yeah. Question for you. So just so people understand, what's the marketing and advertising budget look like on a monthly basis?
We've spent between 40 and 75 a month on marketing. Mail is probably, from month to month, maybe 15 to 25% of the budget is mail. Okay. So it's pretty heavy.
On the TV front, way back in the day, in San Diego, I did some TV advertising for our company, but I know nothing about it anymore. Is it specifically DMV, or does it go down to the East Coast? Or?
No, it's just DMV. Okay. The good news is that you've probably never seen it. And the reason is because you are not watching like court TV that took you down. Okay. I think. Yes. Fortunately, most of the people, a lot of people I know have never seen it for those reasons. That's the way I'd like to keep it. It does work. People remember it probably because it's bad, and then they go to the website later, and
So, I'm sure you get tons of leads. I'm sure you have so many leads with all the $70,000 a month of advertising. How do you sift through leads? What does the team look like to manage all of these?
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience.
Well, Four Brothers, it's 25 people, the staff. About half of it is sales. We do get a lot of inbound leads. A lot of them are not great, right?
Yeah,
they'll call in, hey, I saw your commercial, collect, whatever, prank calls. You get a lot of prank calls.
Hey, Kevin sucked on our commercial.
Yeah, I saw Kevin. That's that's bad, And then it's the rest. We have 4 inside salespeople. Yep. And when a lead comes in, one of them has to claim it. Whoever claims it gets to work it for the day. And if they don't get in touch with them, it goes to a pool of ISAs, and we have sort of processes from there to get.
Typically, someone calls you today. What is the normal time it takes for you guys to get that under contract? What's the average?
Yeah, tremendously depending on the lead source.
Sure.
So if it's like PPC or pay-per-lead, it's 32 days.
Okay.
From call to monetizing.
Yep.
If it's direct mail, that's between 6 to 9 months. Cold calling is closer to 9 months because if you're calling somebody out of the blue, they're less likely to be ready than somebody that went online and filled out a form. So those leads, like cold calling, they require a ton of nurture. They just take.
I see that. This guy knows his data. He said 32 days. He knows what he's doing.
I just made that up.
Well, it was impressive. It sounded like you knew what you were talking about. But I think that's one of the reasons why people are so interested in your content is you have really good data on how you guys have been successful. And so I want to hear more. So for people that don't know, 1kflips.com, you're on TikTok, you have over 50,000 followers. You're putting out content that's educating people how either to also wholesale, right? And to get into this business. Tell people about how this got started and some of the content that you're providing.
So it's mostly sales content. I feel like that's what I know best, so the sales and I guess some of the marketing. But it's I've been avoiding social media for most of my life, and then I had a moment of weakness and
TikTok. Tell me the moment. So you've never wanted to be on it. And so then you're like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and start TikTok.
Yeah, I was like,
How'd this come about?
so, and I had low expectations.
Yeah.
I heard of, and I forgot his name, but I heard somebody kept telling me about this one agent who's on TikTok who has a gazillion, like millions of followers, and I was like, okay, all right, that whatever. And then I just decided to try it.
Did we your first video?
I think it was I was using sock puppets, maybe. I don't remember. I don't know. Pretending to be like a mime. I have no idea.
Right here for the first video.
It was probably, I'm sure the first several were like even worse. They were probably like, I'm like, is it on? But yeah, I was like, all right, we can try. Maybe this will like do something. I don't know. Started making it. And then I quickly realized that sort of my on-camera personality is so putrid that it was going to require very high caliber content in order to help sort of buoy the lack of charisma on camera.
Yeah.
So that sort of became, I was like, I've got to really like provide something that's something actionably usable to overcome the fact that like the camera comes on, I'm like, like picking my nose. It's like, it's not okay. Yeah.
So how long did it take, or how many videos did it take where you're like, oh, shit, there's people like watching this. There's legitimate
I think maybe like 10 or 15 videos in, I started actually getting some traction.
Yeah.
There was one video I did where I was wearing my cycling jersey. I like to cycle.
Yeah.
And it was this jersey that is looks like a hot air balloon.
Okay.
And I had gone for a ride and I decided to do a TikTok. I went back. It ended up being, I think, like a decent content. Plus, I think the shirt.
We looked
Maybe
ridiculous.
it looked, that one was the one where it started.
Really? Nice.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there doing these videos and you're like, this is not working. Or you're like, look, I'm going to commit to 50 videos. Or how did you determine to keep moving forward when there wasn't traction?
I was not surprised that I had no viewers or followers or whatever. But I was like, I'm just going to like keep doing it. I'm not going to put it just see how it goes for a while.
Yeah.
And then, I was like, after 6 months or a year, when I still have 7 followers and one of them is my mom, I'm going to probably just delete the account, pretend like it didn't happen.
Yes.
But then I don't even understand how the algorithm works or any of that. But I think I just got lucky to a degree. I happened to be wearing that shirt. Or whatever it was. And then once that one did well, then it got easier.
Nice. So that channel now, it's specifically 1K flips, right?
Mm-hmm.
And tell us about 1K flips. Like, so you're doing training for people who want to learn the business. What else does the business do?
So it's all like coaching, and really kind of my bread and butter for that is sales process. Yep. So my sort of general philosophy as a wholesaler is that leads are leads. I think a lot of people think there's magic lead sources or some magic channel, or I don't know, we somehow get all the good leads and all. Yeah. But we pay for the leads just like everybody else, right? If you pay for PPC or you pay for pay-per-lead, you'll get the same leads. I think the difference is, with the sales process, right? The lead comes in, then what, right?
What's the quickest you've ever ratified a deal from the time they reach out to you?
Same day.
Same day.
Yeah.
Well, that's happened multiple times.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Impressive.
We get on the phone and I tell the DiGiorno joke.
Okay.
And then that usually helps a lot.
So then they hang up.
Then you sort of feel
and you say it was Paul's joke. It was mine.
Yes, that was plagiarism. I can't. Yes, but I'll still buy your house. Yeah.
You have a lot of followers, so I'm assuming you get a lot of action. You get some commentary on your post. Negativity. Are you dealing with a lot of negativity? Do you how do you deal with that? Do you respond to these people? What do you got?
But several people have asked me that question. I guess that's a thing on a lot of the trolling.
We don't know because no one watches our stuff. Okay. So we're hoping one day we'll get to deal with it, but not yet.
I had a different sort of perspective going into it. I assumed that all of the comments were going to be negative.
Yeah.
So when somebody actually said something nice, I was like, well, that's surprising. So I was just sort of expecting it. But yes, one person, sometimes I record, a lot of times I record at my RV. I generally don't really engage too much with that. I don't know, should I be? Being
I don't know.
Yes, I do look like I'm in a microwave. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
All right. So you're talking to people, you're getting tons of leads every single day. Should they sell with you? Should they not? Give us some negotiation strategies, tactics that work with people. And what's the best?
what's the best?
Yeah, is there
best
one
one?
like do you tell your joke and then people are like, this is terrible, and you're like, oh, I was just breaking the ice.
Yeah.
Let's buy your house.
Are you familiar with like black sites, CIA black sites? Yeah, I've done waterboarding. So things
Yes,
like that are
correct.
very effective.
Very effective.
To get people to sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. So I had to come up with like a sales process
Yeah.
that somebody like myself, right,
Yeah.
lawyer, like not a salesperson really, that could do and like learn and do. So I sort of over the years developed this kind of process. So when I go into these appointments at this point, I'm barely conscious. I'm like there's no brain activity. I'm like completely on autopilot. I remember almost nothing when I leave. I will like walk through and see the house or whatever, right? I sit down and I go through kind of this rehearsed kind of, this is what our process is.
Yeah.
And I do it in a way that is in no way, shape, or form aligned with my actual personality. Right? It's entirely not me.
You turn into an actor.
Yes.
You're a great salesman.
Yeah. So anybody so like if they actually knew me or spent time with me, they'd be like, well, I feel like your actual personality is worse when you were here earlier, but okay.
Oh, what's the benefit for the seller? Like, why would they work for you? For those people out there that would sell to you today because they don't want to deal with the whole process. So like what's the value if you guess?
What's the value of working?
Four brothers buy houses.
What's the value?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to push you into anything. Okay.
I'm trying to sell my house quickly, okay?
Okay, but are you sure you don't want to list it? Because listen, that's going to be the path to getting the most money. Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah. So listen, I like the house. I'd be happy to buy it. It's a great property, but it's in pretty good shape, and you can do better than what I can offer. You can list it, hire an agent. You got to go through some hoops, but you will net more money. Period. End of story. And I just want to make sure that's I want to explore that option. That wouldn't be with me. That would be somebody else. That's not what I do. But I want to make sure that we pull that thread and figure it. Do you want to keep it as a rental?
No. I am trying to get rid of it as soon as possible because my neighbors don't like me. I go, and so you go in your
common.
Yeah, you go in your RV. I've been working on this like 1993 Land Rover Defender that's in my front yard that won't start, and it's turned into a jungle gym. But the point is, they don't want me there. I got to get out of there.
I'd be happy to put together an offer for you. You seem like a nice guy.
How quickly can I get out of there?
Well, let's say we came to an agreement. When we come to an agreement, I'm going to send it to the title company. I use Allied Title and Escrow, believe it or not.
I heard they're the best.
Yeah, so I send it to them, knock out the title work, right? That's like 10 days or whatever. And once they give me the okay, right, we can close anytime after that. So you would just dictate to me what you wanted.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I'll sell in 2 weeks.
You can leave everything behind. You can leave the Defender if you want.
Oh, no, I don't know if you want that thing.
Oh, we'll take it.
It looks pretty good, though. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Ding. Your business interest rates, good, bad, doesn't affect it? What do you think?
Not a big factor. It certainly impacts inventory, but people who want to sell and want to sell for cash, like that sort of still exists. But it's a little harder for people to move right when rates are, if they're going to buy something else. But a lot of times they're not.
So one thing we ask everyone is, has there been a time in your life where you're curled up on a ball, want to give up on everything? Was it in this industry?
Yeah.
Was it in this industry? Was it another industry? What did you do? What happened?
Well, you're describing my morning routine. Yeah, there are a lot of days where I don't want to I don't like doing appointments at all.
So it was when Paul told you the joke, and that's why you left the industry.
That's why I left lawyering. But then since I've been in real estate, I've done like a gazillion appointments.
Sure.
I don't like doing them.
Yeah.
I don't really like going to the houses. Usually there's a lot of sort of crazy stuff happening.
Why do you still have to go? So no one's equipped with the experience to deal with the craziness? Is that a thing to get you out of that one day or no?
Yeah, I've got one other outside salesperson, but for this business to really make sense, you have to close at a certain rate.
Sure.
And it's got to be a pretty high rate if you're trying to do volume. And it's hard to find people and train people who can, you can get somebody up to a point where they're good, but there's some kind of innate ability, I guess, or I don't know, unteachable aspects of it, I suppose, that you is hard to train.
It's also probably nerve-wracking in some of the situations you're going into. So I see some of these videos online of like the houses that people go into. And
they're nice.
Hoarders or whatever the case is, right?
It's hard to find somebody that is going to like be able to go out and close at a high enough rate to really make it work.
You don't love doing it, but you go out and do it, which is funny, right? Because like you don't love being on camera, you do that. You don't love being, but you're really good at doing things you don't like doing.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if it's true, but it's just sort of like the theme of my life. I do a lot of things I don't like to do, it seems like. So, yeah, but at some point I'm just going to like become nocturnal and never leave my RV. That's sort of the end goal.
Was there a time when you were like, this is not going to work, like in this business, or has it always seemed to do pretty well?
When we first John and I first partnered up, like in 2017, and for, like, you know, that was a big change. I mean, I knew nothing about real estate, and I still don't know anything, just FYI. But I was sort of like trying to figure it out, and we were trying to figure out, like, he had just been flipping a couple houses a year. We were like trying to turn this into a business. So we were trying to grow a business. I was trying to like learn how to do everything. Yeah, and a couple months into it, I was like, you know, I wonder if this is going to like play out.
Worked out pretty well.
So
the audience knows how many deals are y'all closing a month?
Around, so like 25-ish on average for cash, and then it's going to be another like 20 or so listings that come from our marketing that our partners are close.
Do you guys you back at one time you guys were doing the flips yourself? Do you do that anymore at all?
We do, but not super frequently. Yeah.
All right, so, you know, sometimes I think people can overcomplicate strategy, like I do these 5 things or these 15 things to be successful. What's the one reason why you've been successful and this has worked out for you?
I don't know. For me, I think sort of my best sort of quality is being just sort of like a menace. I'm just like sort of pound away at something until I figure it out, and like and that's sort of what happened here. I like first 6 months we were like not doing a lot of business, and just sort of like kept trying to trial and error, figure it out. Just didn't kind of
grinding, tweaking. Sounds about
tweaking,
like tweaking the process. It's very similar. So like, you know, a lot of times it's like, do we want to ask this question? But for you, we want to ask it.
Okay.
Right? Because like, oh, you ask a real estate agent, oh, tell me about a crazy deal. Now in the wholesaling business, what is the most ridiculous experience you've had? Whether it's a house you've seen,
so one time a couple of years ago I bought a townhouse, and it was in Gaithersburg from a woman that was I think maybe in her 70s, kind of a difficult personality, kind of, you know, tough to deal with. I went and met with her myself. She informed me that she had previously met with another wholesaler, and that wholesaler, she claimed, had stolen all of her vacuum cleaner attachments.
It's an interesting business model. Makes sense.
Unlikely, but okay. I was like, can you believe that? So we ended up doing a deal. Her daughter lived in Florida. And she was moving down to live with her daughter, so her daughter was involved in this from afar. And she warned me. She was like, my mom's a little tough to deal with, you know. I was like, well, you know, so are all of my relatives, so okay, cool. Anyway, so we did the deal, and then she was like, the day of closing, she was leaving, getting on an airplane, flying to Florida, never to come back. She demanded that I take her to the airport. I attempted on many times.
Has she signed yet?
She'd
already signed.
She was like, you have to take me to the airport.
Were you with her when the signing was occurring? Or did she say, hey, you need to come pick me up?
This was where she was like, listen, like closing was on Friday. You know, I need you to take me to the airport. I was like, oh, well, guess what? Actually, there's a service called Uber, and that works well, and that could be a good option. And I could arrange your limousine for you, whatever you'd like. She was like, I don't trust these people. They won't show up. Whatever. She was like, I'm not going to close
the vacuum attachment. Uber's been done.
Listen, attachments. Hello. So she like badgered me into it. I was like, fine. So I had to like drive up there to get her and take her to DCI.
Did you get a video of this? A picture?
I have some pictures of it, but here's the thing. So she decided her flying outfit would be a nightgown, which was it. cool. And I think Paulson does the same thing. But it was, so I picked her up and she wanted to go to McDonald's. It was in the morning. I was like, all right, whatever. We went through the drive-through. Yeah. She got like a biscuit or whatever. I didn't know it was possible to eat a biscuit and where more ends up in your lap than your mouth. But she managed to do that. So we have like a 45-minute drive to DCA.
Take a picture of that, like while you're driving. Drive to Daisy. Take a photo of that.
Why is this happening? We're like 45 minutes drive, 30 minutes into it, she said, I got to use the bathroom. I was like, okay. Do we need to pull over? She's like, I don't know. I think I'm okay. And I was like, all right. I was like, okay. Well, like we're pretty close. She was like, okay, whatever. Then we're like 5 minutes away. We're like start pulling into DC. She was like, I really got to go. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, we're here. She was supposed to have somebody there waiting with a wheelchair. Yeah. She could walk there, but she just, it was either. So, and, I was like, all right, well, don't worry. We're almost there. And I'm like going like 110 through the airport. And so we get there and like I'm running around and I'm like helping her out. I'm like, then she was like, I can't do anything about it. Yeah, she just went. It was a number 2. And it was a special moment for me. And
it's a special moment for me.
And it was like, and I remember you were like, it was like, people, it's impossible. How do you respond to that? You'd have to be like Larry King to know how to handle a situation like that. So I was like, okay, maybe I should just pretend like I don't know what to do. It was like, and then the person with the wheelchair. I don't know if you have
to pretend on that, but yeah.
They was with the airport, just turned around and started going the other direction, which is understandable at that point. And then she was like, kind of like, she did that, and then she was basically like, okay, I'm ready to go in. And I was like, And she was like kind of mad about it. It was sort of like, if the wheelchair had been here faster, this might have, but whatever. Let's go.
There might be a hook for this podcast. There might be a good hook.
So that happened. I'm not allowed back at DCA, I don't think.
No, but the good news is we only have 19 more stories to go of this.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So then she was gone, and then I called her daughter.
No, real quick, though. Did someone else come with a wheelchair, or did she just walk off?
She just walked off. She was like, all right, I see I'm on my own. She didn't care. Man. She was just kind of like, whatever. She left it there on the sidewalk. People were
imagine sitting next to her on the flight. I mean, that would have been. Hey, do you smell something? No.
I shit on the sidewalk. Yeah, earlier. That's probably what you're smelling. But see, she didn't care.
Yeah.
And so she is one of my personal heroes.
Yeah.
Because she's demonstrated to me
lack of care. Like that's a superhero ability.
Yes.
The good news is
you smell it? I shit on the sidewalk earlier.
Yes, and we also, this podcast, privacy is a big thing, so we're not going to tell anyone who it was. But what an amazing person and an amazing skill and talent.
Tremendous individual, like just to pull that off and be like, so I just did this, and now I'm going to go get on my phone.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was not expecting that story.
I wasn't expecting it to happen.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it didn't. It was, and this was like 4 years ago. I'm still in counseling.
Sure. How could you not be?
Yeah.
How many, would there be multiple stories that fall into something similar to that realm that you could tell? Not that we're going to keep you here all the time.
One time I went to a property in D.C., okay, right? And I went there. It was just like a regular 3-level row house, right? A million of them. And I went in, I was meeting with the seller. The seller was like, hey, whatever. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to just do a walkthrough, take a look, then we'll sit down and, give you my thoughts. All right, so this was like a row house that had, no changes. You walk in, there's like living room, dining room, sort of galley kitchen, right? Yeah. And then stairs to the basement. So I kind of peek into the kitchen, and there was somebody in there, another person, a female, cooking eggs, and she had no clothes on.
Oh.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to start upstairs. I guess that'll...
Sure.
Yeah. And then when I came down, she was eating at the table with nothing on.
No clothes on.
And I was kind of like, do you want to sit outside? And she was like, no.
Here's good.
And I was like, this other party didn't acknowledge me. She didn't care. Another person that just is so much better at not caring than me.
There was another person. Who was the other person in the room?
Like, no, I'm saying the person that was cooking.
Because
she never spoke to me.
Sure.
Or even acknowledged me, which is impressive.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the person you were talking to. Okay,
she was
gotcha.
just like,
you're meeting here with this person. This
I'm here with the
person's
seller.
naked
We have this
cooking eggs.
third-party egg cooking naked lady.
Yeah.
Who never acknowledges my presence.
No.
Which is amazing.
It's hard to do that.
And so then I'm sitting in the
life.
living room.
So you're gonna come out with a
conversation.
book on all the
seller.
things that you experienced.
And right in the next room, no clothes on eating eggs.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not
sure.
Is this legal?
What a life. So when I asked earlier, why do you still go in these appointments? I figured it out. This is your entertainment.
It's impossible, but maybe I'm wrong, to explain this. I've tried to explain what I do to some of my old colleagues, who are lawyers, but she was cooking eggs. Do you understand so far? Right, and no clothes on. They're like, what does he do? What does he do for a living? What has happened to Kevin?
It's unbelievable. What I've been visioning is, hey, honey, how was your day? It was good. I had a shitter, and we just naked egg cooker, but things are fine. I'll see you 6:30.
Yeah, and so we did a contract on that one.
Yeah,
on the spot.
And there was. This was part of a strategy to tie you into a swingers club? Maybe? Is that a
If that was, obviously, once they met me, they were like, okay, abort,
Thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
And sometimes, people are like, why do you guys do this stuff? And it's like, I like to learn a little bit about people and people we're working with, but this has gone to another level. And I would say this has not been good.
Yeah,
no, this is not
for your mental health.
Yeah, for all of it, and our audience, for yourself, myself.
Yeah, this is very cathartic for me.
Please don't ever come back.
I think that's fair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
On your way out, if people want to learn more about what you're doing, Four Brothers, 1K Flips, tell them where they can find you.
1kflips.com if you want to learn, how to be a masterful salesperson with a terrible personality.
Perfect. And follow you on TikTok there.
Yes, at your own peril.
Yep.
Four Brothers Buy Houses is our, main company.
Absolutely. So. And then agents out there who you thought in the past this might be your competition, reach out. You can pass us some leads.
Yeah.
Or if they have something that they don't want to list, they still get paid the commission on it.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yep.
Hey, I have shocking development. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You are entertaining.
Well, thank you for having me. Now I'm tired now.
Yeah.
This has been very exhausting.
This is exhausting. It's very exhausting.
I would like to
take the rest of the day nap. Okay?
Yeah. Now.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Over and out.